The vibe is still off between Canada and America when it comes to trade negotiations, Donna, with U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra saying a considerable amount of work needs to be done to try and reach a deal, and that the biggest U.S. complaint is the fact Canada retaliated at all.
You know, free trade agreements used to be the bedrock of North America, shimmering highways of goods crossing borders, until now. Canada's counter-tariffs have pulled the rug out from CUSMA, says a U.S. envoy, scared the heck out of free trade believers right there.
Canada is the country that has pulled the rug out from USMCA. So for, a premier to say, well, the U.S. could pull it out at any minute.
It's the kind of shock that rattles boardrooms, trading floors, and government halls all at once. One of the most important trade pacts in the world, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, known in Canada as CUSMA, is suddenly facing a crisis. The U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, didn't mince words. In a blunt interview in mid-August 2025, he warned that Canada's latest retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, including some products that are supposed to be tariff-free under the deal, threaten the very future of the agreement itself. The timing could not have been more charged. Canada's announcement of 25% counter-tariffs earlier this year already had tempers flaring in Washington. These tariffs targeted $59.8 billion worth of American imports, everything from orange juice and motorcycles to appliances and household goods. The problem, according to Hoekstra and the White House, is that some of these products fall under CUSMA protections and should never have been hit. Meanwhile, on August 1st, the United States raised its own tariffs to 35% on non-CUSMA goods, citing reasons ranging from national security to alleged fentanyl trafficking. This spiral didn't happen overnight. In early 2025, the Trump administration reignited its tariff strategy, imposing sweeping 25% duties on Canadian imports, excluding energy products but hitting sectors like manufacturing and agriculture hard. Ottawa saw this as a breach of CUSMA commitments and struck back with equal force. The counter-tariffs were not just symbolic, they were calculated to apply maximum pressure. Items chosen for the list often came from politically sensitive U.S. states, the kind that could hurt American lawmakers at home. When those measures landed, Washington doubled down. By August, Trump's executive order pushed some tariffs even higher, turning what was already a simmering dispute into a full-blown trade war scenario. Then came Hoekstra's public statement on August 14th, accusing Canada of undermining the very foundation of CUSMA and warning that if the rules of the game could be so easily ignored, the deal itself might not survive.
Some Canadian politicians have decided that they will attack the president personally. They will attack people on his economic team, his negotiating team. They will attack them personally, not on the policy, but them personally. Again, that is a Canadian decision. All we do is respond to it.
Underneath the sharp words are deeper forces. For the Trump administration, tariffs are more than economic tools. They're leverage, a way to force concessions on everything from border security to manufacturing standards. For Canada, retaliating was about defending sovereignty, showing domestic industries that Ottawa wouldn't simply absorb hits without striking back. The historical context makes it even more complex. CUSMA, signed in 2020, was meant to modernize NAFTA and bring stability to North American trade after years of uncertainty. Now, just 5 years later, its stability is in question once again. The fallout is immediate and widespread. Auto plants in Ontario are already feeling the squeeze, with some models failing to meet CUSMA's strict content requirements and now facing steep new tariffs. Farmers on both sides of the border are losing markets they've depended on for decades. The political atmosphere is equally tense. Ontario Premier Doug Ford warned that Trump could rip up CUSMA with one signature, a sentiment that suddenly doesn't feel like an exaggeration. Canada's strategy is not just about responding to the U.S., it's also about building alliances. Ottawa has been working closely with Mexico, trying to present a united front against Washington's aggressive tactics. Canadian pension funds, controlling over $2 trillion Canadian dollars, are quietly shifting investments into Mexico, a move some analysts see as part of a broader trade and economic realignment. But even this alliance is complicated. Mexico has its own grievances and may be willing to cut side deals with the U.S. if it benefits their economy. The economic reality is that while some Canadian industries, particularly oil and gas, remain largely insulated from the tariff fight due to exemptions, smaller exporters are getting crushed. Many simply can't afford to meet the stringent rules of origin under CUSMA and are now priced out of the U.S. market. Business leaders, including Canadian Chamber of Commerce President Goldie Hyder, have warned that prolonged tensions could push the country toward a recession. Negotiations continue, but officials on both sides admit privately that they're still far from a resolution. A deal could be weeks away, or it could collapse entirely. The worst-case scenario is not just more tariffs, it's the unraveling of CUSMA itself, which would send shockwaves far beyond North America. The best-case scenario is a recalibration. Canada eases some of its counter-tariffs, the US scales back its latest hikes, and both sides agree to tighter enforcement of the deal's provisions without throwing out the entire agreement. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's a test of trust. CUSMA was built on the idea that even fierce economic competitors could agree to a set of rules and stick to them. When one side believes the other is breaking those rules, the foundation cracks. Once trust is gone, the legal text means very little. There is Canada's counter-tariffs, whether seen as a justified defense or a risky provocation, have pushed CUSMA into dangerous territory. Hoekstra's accusation that Canada has pulled the rug out from under the deal is a reminder that pacts are only as strong as the political will to uphold them. If the political winds in Washington and Ottawa keep blowing in opposite directions, the rug might not be the only thing pulled out. It could be the entire agreement. So the question now isn't just whether these tariffs will stand, it's whether Canada and the United States can rebuild enough trust to keep CUSMA alive, or if this is the opening chapter in its slow collapse. What do you think? Can the deal be saved, or has the damage already been done? If this made you think, hit subscribe, share your thoughts below, and stay tuned because the next move in this trade chess game could change everything.